since this started. Thus, it brought a lot of change in our life drastically. Morning ana gani, pwede kay nga naon. Madili ka siya dagang diretso ba? Kay ka when adults are greatly troubled with the change of lifestyle and almost process and transactions in the world, hingkama man mo na the youth also feels ample stress. Unsay yang connection ba? Ano, rather that if musuki ka when adults are greatly troubled by the change in lifestyle brought about the pandemic, how about the youth? Wherein that a lot of changes or a lot of report has been kualat. Even the teenagers, blah, 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 ano ba? Idiretso na lang siya ba? Pwede siya i-rephrase diri dapita.
Yes, ma'am.
Dayon. Now with almost adults getting natano, blah, blah, period. Now, based on the talid ano man, based on um, iba na may murag naman ay asa gina mag-post si dilima o si doctor ha og update sa pila na kabuok percentage ang nabaksinan diri sa Negros. Um, diin mo, namoy statistics na makita kung pila na ka percentage ang adult currently sa Philippines ang nabaksinan. Hello?
Like sa Philippines, ma'am, no? Or sa...
Pwede ra, oh. Now, lately, based on the news that 40%, 50, 80% of are 80% already is ano ba, adults are vaccinated in the Philippines and mura na siya kay now with most adults getting vaccinated. Now with most adults getting vaccinated in the Philippines. Now with now with most adults getting vaccinated in the Philippines, and the fight for achieving herd immunity is almost a success. Sige, kaya na diha, the Department of Health is imposing the idea of getting teenagers aged up to 17 vaccinated in the hope in the hopes of safely reopening the schools, allowing limited face-to-face classes to happen as early as possible. Kuha na ng word however, since this vaccine is new to everyone, diretsoan na lang. Kinisulti pa man ka. Since this vaccine is new to everyone and many factors are being considered for teenagers to be confident and being confident in receiving this vaccine, not every teenager is willing to get one. With the rumors and misinformation, that's not every teenager is willing to get one. Inyo isumpay. It is known that parents' opinion and judgment tend to influence their children's understanding, determination, or willingness to get these vaccines. But with the increasing rumors and misinformation received by the families through radios, neighbor, and social media, it becomes anang it resulted to the development of reluctant ang parents ba to immunize their children. Anaon siya, malig mura siya og naghatag kag intro sa before ka nihatag og kanang facts niya unsay reason anang mga chismis mo na siya ang murag ending sa sentence ato siyang balihon ba again. However, since this vaccine is new to everyone and many factors are being however since this vaccine is new to everyone and many factors are being considered for teenagers to be confident in receiving these vaccines, this vaccine, not every teenager is going to get one. It is known that parents' opinion and judgment tend to influence their children's understanding, determination, or willingness to get these vaccines. But with the rumors and misinformations that the families gathered from radio, neighbors, social media platforms, blah blah blah. So i-rearrange siya diha. Nakuha ra?
Yes, ma'am. Nakuha
Okay.
ra.
Dayon, yan na ta ha. Then, pa-build up na ni sa gap. Okay. Di ba pud pwede dahang kitag storya good sa kanang rationale. Dapat makita din ang gap ba. So, kato mga informations na nato ang facts. Dayon, arita sa ang ending anino is kung man to reluctant to immunize their children with these vaccines. In the United States, in the United States, rollout of vaccination among teenager ages 12 to 17 has started in the middle of May 2021, with Pfizer and BioNTech being the only vaccines being allowed in said age group. However, months after the inoculation, the CDC found out that vaccination rates in adolescents, blah blah blah, wait sa ha. Saan naman ito ni pag-build up, padungan ni sa rasyonale. Going down compared to the vaccine drive in their age group started. As of July 2021, they have found out that only 42 adolescents have received of above one dose, more than one dose of COVID-19 vaccine, and fewer than one-third has been fully vaccinated. So, despite the endorsement of the Department of Health, ay, hindi ko kasabot aning despite the endorsement from the Department of Health, what causes anxiety among the teenager? Ang sa'yo pasabot ani? Despite the endorsement from the Department of Health, what causes anxiety among the teenagers? So, ang endorsement sa Department of Health, kung saan nakakause sila anxiety? Ang saan ni dire?
Ay, Merc, ang thought they ana, ma'am, is despite the endorsements of DOH, they are still anxious, ma'am. Or i-rephrase yata ni.
Kuan tingalita atong kunon ha, di ba? Ang ending nato diri sa paragraph sa babaw kay ano man kaning many parents are reluctant to immunize the children with these vaccines. Pwede ta, many research studies have investigated the attitude towards COVID-19 vaccination. COVID-19, young adults' intention and rationales for COVID-19 vaccines participation and willingness to pay for the vaccine among people with depression and anxiety disorder. However, only a few studies explored the anxiety of teenagers towards the vaccination despite the endorsement of the Department of Health. Thus, to build up. Many research studies have investigated the attitudes towards COVID-19 vaccination. Many studies have investigated the attitude toward COVID-19 vaccination, young adults' intentions and rationale for COVID-19 vaccine, and their willingness to pay for the vaccine among people. But however, only a few studies explore the anxiety of teenagers towards vaccination. Despite the endorsement of the Department of Health. Period. Most of these studies were conducted outside the Philippines, but which also more outside the Philippines. Hence, the researcher wanted to pursue this study because determining the extent of their anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination will help address the teenagers' uncertainty regarding the safety and effectiveness of vaccine, which may prevent the countries from which may on the extent of their anxiety towards COVID-19, which will help address teenagers' uncertainty regarding the safe and effectiveness of vaccine, which may prevent, which may help the country to reaching herd immunity. Ana tingali, dili kay prevent. And hence, the researchers wanted to pursue this study man because determining the extent of their anxiety and the factors towards COVID-19 vaccination, this would help address teenagers' uncertainty regarding the safety and effectiveness of vaccine, as well as increase the country's reaching or thus promoting the country from reaching herd immunity. Ana tingali? Dili tingali prevent.
Yes, ma'am. I-change lang na ang word, ma'am.
Again ha. Ayaw kayo ko ana. Ay sa ha. Kay kani siya. Ato to. Aso di unsa na to na ako gani. Nega take note ninyo. Di man kukuan kay PDF man gud ni. Ayun ha, sa to. So many research studies have investigated the attitude toward COVID-19 vaccination, young adult intention and rationale for COVID-19 vaccination, its participation, willingness to pay, especially for people with depression and anxiety disorder. However, only a few studies explore the anxiety of teenagers toward vaccination despite the endorsement from the Department of Health. Period. Mostly of these studies were conducted outside the Philippines, which also mostly focus on vaccine hesitancies and acceptance. Hence, the researchers wanted to pursue this study because determining the extent of their anxiety, as well as knowing the factors towards COVID-19 vaccine, towards the COVID-19 vaccination will help address the teenagers' uncertainty regarding the safety and effectiveness of the vaccines, which uh, which may also help, um, which would also help the country reaching the herd immunity. Then, as through this research, unsa may inyong kuan? The finding of this research can be established the data gap, develop programs, and used to establish a data gap. Kung pahugtan ang inyong gap. Hence, the researcher wanted to pursue this study because determining the extent of the anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination would help address the teenagers' uncertainties regarding the safety and effectiveness. It has been known in the United States that at first kanina diri dapita na may insert na ninyo na at first taas siya pero na ay decline. Yeah. Inyong isulod na with these facts or these statistics, with these statistics, out of this research, we could be able to determine the factors regarding that, and as well as promote promote or develop programs that would help the community as well as a country in reaching the herd immunity. So the findings of this study can be used to bridge and to tab through the gap, develop programs ng anaon sa pagsulti para mas klaro ang dagan sa inyong rationale of the study ba na dagan kay kag points na makita nga nung kinahanglan. So number one, walay studies in the Philippines regarding the teenagers level of anxiety, despite na-endorse na siya sa Department of Health. Dayon. Sunod is nakita ninyo na sa other countries nisugod sila pero nagka-decline ang ilahang vaccination rate among vaccination percentage among this age group. Dayon, gusto ko mga factors silang anxiety para makatabang ta as healthcare providers na maka-give tag ano, gusto ta mo give og ano ba information, something like that, para mulasan sa anxiety sa atong community, as well as it would help the entire country reaching herd immunity. Murag ana gani ang tumong lagi makit-an ba na rason ba nganong kinahanglan mo conduct ani na study ba. Nga kuan pod ang fact pod is teenagers are very vulnerable, no nya, given the kato yung reason na most of the opinions and judgment of the teenager coming from the parents baya. So kung ang parent dili pod hesitant pod silang mga bata na di pod pa sila kasabot bisan nagpa-vaccine sila pero hadlok sa silang mga anak, mo po ni resulta na nganong dili pod ta mo go to vaccination. That would help manage and control person anxiety as well as maintain a lesser percentage of becoming infected with COVID. So, unsa man inyong the findings of this study can be used to establish the data gap, develop the program to help manage and control a person's anxiety, and as well as maintain a lesser percentage of becoming infected due to consistent health promotion. Kani inyong findings, unsa man inyong gustong ma-establish sa inyong findings? So the findings of the study can be used to establish the data gap, develop programs that would help manage and control a person's anxiety to, towards getting COVID-19 vaccination, and those programs would help the community acquire accurate information needed to boost their confidence and trust. Ngayon, anak ba? Sige. Kailangan ninyo i-restructure inyong rationale kay kung dili kanyo ma-build ang gap, isod ka siya dawaton. So, inyo rin yung magbasa gani mo, tanawon sa ninyo no, while nagbasa mo, it's like you are talking, while reading is like, kung ako'y gabasa, murag na gastorya na ako ba, sa unsay na asaw na huna sa usa ka researcher toward ani na study ba. Kagets ra?
Yes, ma'am. Nag-take notes lang rin, ma'am.
Oo. Diba naaman siya actually, pero dili kayo siya well established ang thought ba na kanang sakto na murag laderize ko siya ba na kung ako'y magbasa, di ba, kung while I was revising it nakita ninyo na more di siya kanang gi-build up ang structure sa sentence na ma-highlight ang gap, dili ang mga extra storya ba, ma-highlight siya, ma-interrelated to each other siya ba. Sige, dayon. Kani bang what are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in terms of unsa man, in terms sa factors, in terms of what are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in terms of kanina mga factors, no?
Yes, ma'am. Kay katong sa Roy's model, ma'am, is naman siya adaptive modes pod, ma'am. Then under pod ana na meta paradigm na. What are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents towards COVID-19 vaccination? Or what are the adaptive modes utilized by respondents in terms of on the level of what are the adaptive modes utilized by respondents in terms of the factors identified towards the factors identified? Or what are the adaptive modes utilized by respondents in their level of anxiety?
More na si kala na siya sumpay dire. Ako kabaon sa isumpay. Is there a significant difference? Difference inyo or gusto mo relationship?
Pwede man ma'am, relationship.
Ang una lang tingin nyo is there a significant difference between the level of anxiety and COVID-19 vaccination of adult? So, manguha mo ani og data sa adolescent? Ngayon, abot naman tag adolescents. 12, 17. Is there a significant adolescent? Teenagers man kahata.
Yes ma'am, i-change din na mo na ma'am.
Is there a significant difference between the level of anxiety of unsa man? The level of anxiety matong gitest ani. Is there a significant difference between the level of anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination among teenagers in Barangay Kandaway and Batinggil? Dili kay is there a significant difference between the level of anxiety and COVID-19 vaccine? So meaning nada mo ihatag ng mga choices sa kind of COVID vaccination? Kung mas anxious ba ang teenager sa Sinovac, Pfizer? Murag yung anak. Kaya man ka level of anxiety and COVID-19 vaccination. So ang difference sa level of anxiety o ang difference sa COVID-19 vaccination, yung anak or towards COVID-19 vaccination among teenagers in Barangay Candawa and Batinggil. Waon ninyo ang difference kung asa ang mas anxious, ang tagka mga bata ba sa Batinggil or mga bata sa Kandaway? Mao ni?
Pardon.
Kadong? Di ko kadong og dyan.
Murag ing anak.
Doon murag in ana.
Ay, ang relationship between Shagwani ng mga sa barangay.
Ako mo kuha man ko kag relationship, like for example, when you say relationship, like number 4, is there a significant relationship between the level of anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination in terms of their socioeconomic profile? Pwede mo siya makuha ang relationship like pareha man sa dili ta mo sultig unsa tong mga profile gani ani like for example yung kag sex asa may mas kung naaba relationship ang sex in terms of level of anxiety. For example, female ka, mas anxious ba ang babae? Maka-affect ba na babae ka munang anxious ka? Na ba sa relationship or wala? Ang pagka-increase imong anxiety, the existence of you being anxious, na ba relationship akong edad? Ako ang pagkababae? Ako ang relihiyon? Kung unsa kong level karon, akong living arrangement, naa ba sila relationship? Ngano na ani ko ka anxious? Ana ba? May get relationship. Pero if miyong ka og relationship sa barangay Kandaway og level of anxiety, what do you mean by that? Meaning imuhang pagpuyo aning barangaya na abe relationship sa imong pagka-anxious?
Murag katong imong first na giingon ma'am, murag mga to among gimin ma'am.
So,
yes ma'am.
ang inyo ay significant difference if naabay difference kung different ba ang level of anxiety na ikaw asay mas taas ba gusto mo ba or where to naabay difference if nagpuyo ka sa Kandaway or Batinggil in terms of your level of anxiety mo na yung gusto may bawaan kay asa may mas anxious kay may difference makita man kinsa may mas anxious nila, mas kinsa may mas daghan og anxiety ang kanita kandaw ay ba o batingil. So pwede nang difference ang inyong question. Pero dili ka mo pwede niugan. Kay kung mayong kag andere, lahi ni na variable ang level of anxiety, lahi po na variable ang COVID-19 vaccination. So inyong lantawon dire, if naabay difference ang anxiety level sa kandaw ay o naabay difference ang COVID-19 vaccination. So kung COVID-19 vaccination, mura tang nahulog na naabay anxiety ang usa ka teenager towards Sinovac, Pfizer, Moderna, kay COVID-19 vaccination man. So nahulog siya another na siya na variable na yung studyhan kung ian na ninyo. Hindi man na ang atuwa, di ba? So inyo na, is there a significant difference between the level of anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination among the teenagers in Barangay Candaway and Batingil? Kaya ang atuwa is atong study is ang anxiety man, the level of anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination among the teenagers man in these two barangays. Di ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Doon lagi ni kabuk nanubag sa ako oy, pwede mo kabuok. Pwede mo kabuok.
70 ang
Unang duha ra man ni kabuk ang nanubag. So ining ka defend ani niya ni Ma'am De La Peña ay kung ingnag kamura pong duha manubag. Ipay! Dili ni siya ma-build up na study if gamay ra mo trabaho. So kanya is there's a significant relationship between the level of anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination among the teenagers towards their socio-demographic profile. So, ano na siya, muna nyo ibutang din ha. Is there a significant relationship between the level of anxiety and its socio-economic demographic profile of teenagers towards COVID-19 vaccination? So ang relationship sa level of anxiety o imong socio-demographic profile, imong i-test silang duha. If nabod your relationship, mo matter ba ang age sa imong level of anxiety? Mo matter ba imong religion, imong year level, living arrangements? So, mga tanak po ninyo. Kani yung gibutan din na socio-demographic profiling, naambaboy nakita ng mga related literature na magsulti na naan sila direct relationship to the level of anxiety or wala ana naaba mo nakita ng mga related literature ani nila ng mga fact profile.
Yes, ma'am, sa age, ma'am. Then sa sex,
ma'am.
more sa females.
Arrangements na
Nasa RRL, ma'am.
kanang year level. Anong gibutang niyo ang year level diha? Na year level ba yan ng 12 to 17 years old? Usbon tingali na ang term bitigin na year level. People, luma ni nila eh.
Yes, ma'am. Pwede ra dili na lang i-include, ma'am.
Pero kung magtanaw ka, sa inyong mga research na nabasahan, dako ba siya na influence? Naabay dakong factor ang pag-develop? Kay kaning mga profile na inyong gisulat diri, you have to also make sure na nagi siya relationship towards the building up of your research. Di din siya gisulat na sulat diyan, wala mo gibasihan. Wala
Naas,
siya. Sige, sige, continue.
Naa sa mong RRL ma'am nga ang year level kay nag-indicate daw nga ang mga younger students enrolled in lower year levels kay nag-exhibit og higher levels of consequence-related COVID-19 anxiety, ma'am.
So specific manggod kaayo ta, kaya ari manggod ta sa 12 to 17 years old. Diba? Ato ang age group.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
i-rephrase na ng year level na mo fit in ta sa 12 to 17 years old. Kaya yung kag-year level, level 1, college, magod na. Na karang 12 to 17 years old is grader pa man na. Grade 6, grade 7 to grade 12. So, dili siya year level. Educational attainment tingali. Kung unsa iyahang kanang na-attain na level karon sa iyahang pag-eskwela or sa iyahang status karon, elementary graduate, high school elementary student, elementary graduate, high school student, high school graduate, college student, college graduate, or postgrad na. So, educational attainment nga ito ibutang diha, di tingali year level. Or pwede siya educational attainment unsa man yung na-attain, unsa yung nahuman. Okay. Sure gyud mo tanang 12 to 17 years old aning ng mga barangay naka-eskwela gyud tanan karon. Dili ka out of school youth. Ang uban?
Yes, ma'am. Sakto, ma'am. Educational attainment.
Kay kung na may uban na 12 to 17 years old pero wala kag-eskwela high school. Elementary ra ko to. Pero yung anay lang edad. Kaya nagbuhat ani sa questionnaire, butang yung educational attainment. Butang mga to elementary student, elementary graduate. Ana man ang pinigbutang sa questionnaire para makahibalo mo na 12 to 17 siya per elementary graduate ra di ay. Wa di siya ka-eskwela high school. Diba? Or high school student pero drop out, wa ni human. Mo-affect ba na siya? Nabay siya relationship sa inyong level of anxiety? You get what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige. So, kaning person, environment, health, o nursing, gikan ni kinsa nga ito? Roy?
Yes, ma'am. Kay
Yes,
Calista
ma'am.
Roy.
Pero kaning nursing, ba unsa ni pasabot ninyo? Ani, gisa siya pag-define. Dili kasabot inyong panana 12 to 17 years old kung mag-answer sa pasabot sa nursing. How do you define it here? Na kaninyong mga definition of terms dapat diri na dapit kung how you use kanang naa sa title, kaning naa sa title, yung nag-define how is level of anxiety used sa inyong study. Mo ni inyong mga definition of terms. Anxiety level, attitude and behaviors. Asa mo ko ang attitude and behaviors? Kani health related information, living arrangement, nada dito sa inyong title. Ang kanang definition of terms niyo diri kamo mo define ani mga terms na gi-used sa inyong study. Mga terms ba like kaning naa sa inyong questionnaire, unsa na siya, na how is it being used in the study, like for example mayong kao kaning person, environment, health, nursing, so giunsa siya pag-use sa inyong title o sa inyong research.
Ma'am, na-comment si Dr. Akbar.
Diyan sa
Kabahin,
inyong
anak.
basahan
Sa
na.
Google, ma'am, maka-open ka sa Google Docs, ma'am.
Wait, ako ablihon. Google Docs. Sino ka? Oh my God! Kabaga yan yung comment ni Doc. Kaya, asa naman? I-open ako. Ako na lang i-stop. I-stop share niya siya screen. Ano na share screen na to? Oh. Oh, oh Lord, tabang. Market open sensible voice still it's best to stay clear. The thought na that phenomena will be explored in the context of Roy. Include also the thought that there is limited research on the topic to field the paucity of studies. Muna kong ipasabot. Sige Doc. Bas, comment na diha Doc. O pa sa naabot. Not reflected in the study title. This will be studied as well then consider. Pwede siya, mahimo na siyang kuan. Ang title is Level of Anxiety Among Teenagers Towards COVID-19 Vaccination and its Adaptive Modes Among Teenagers. Level anxiety and adaptive modes towards COVID-19 vaccination. Level of anxiety and adaptive modes among teenagers towards COVID-19 vaccination in Barangay Candaway and Batingid in Negros Oriental. Hindi mo na siya ngingana. Yung title.
Pilon na mo ang level, ma'am.
Huh?
Ang word na level, ma'am.
Level of anxiety and ato ba i-measure ang adaptive modes na gigamit? Pwede po kuan. Only one variable. This is not part of social profile check, meaning social demographics. It's part of this to give, which is may refer to barangay of the matter. Muna na din ha. Marami comment. Ako sa ni-commentan. Doc. Pwede bang yung title nila? Among teenagers, ano?
Yes, ma'am.
It says in the conceptual framework, focal, contextual, and residual. Awan ninyo na usab inyong kuan? Framework? Kani. Ano man ni? Focal conceptual residual lagi ni. Sura aning adaptive muscle. People, naka mo diha?
Ang kanang focal, contextual, and residual ma'am is gibase po na mo siya sa model ni Roy. Under na siya sa environment ma'am, which has 3 components.
Oo, pero okay, ang factors of affecting level of anxiety, kani man inyuhang gi-studyhan diri. Mo man ni inyuhang kuan og kuan, person, environment, health, nursing. Nganong kana raman? So meaning environment ra di ay.
Okay ra if i-appeal ni sila tanan na paradigm ma'am, kay among pagsabot ma'am is kaning first box is person, then health, then environment.
Ay dili. Kanang inyuhang kuan, kanang inyuhang ang kanig yung conceptual framework, mura gyud ni siya og diagram ra pathophysiyo ba na giun ang flow kana research flow. So first is inyuhang main respondents is ang inyuhang teenagers sa barangay Batinggil. Sunod is inyong kwaon ang ilang level of anxiety towards unsa na mga factors. Then once nakuha ng level of anxiety anang mga level of anxiety sa kaya ng mga factors, giun sa pag-adapt sa inyuhang mga respondents. Unsa na mga adaptive modes ang ilang gi-use para sila maka-cope up sa ilang anxiety. Once makahibalo na mo sa reason asa sa dapita anxious o unsa ang ilang gi-use as adaptive measures, then diha na mo makadevelop og program. Dili siya ingnon na kanang inyong gi-categorize na kaning development of program is mo na siya under na siya sa nursing, dili. Kay kani siya kung maghimo mo og questionnaire ani puhon, kanang person is you will formulate a question about the level of anxiety of a person. How will you check ang anxiety sa factor sa person interpersonally o extrapersonally? Maghimo mo ng question about person. Dayon, environment, kan man na extra man na siya na reason na factor. Ang health, imuha gihapon na. So, unsa ang mga questions na manggawas ana nila ba? Dili siya nimo i-pattern kay more man siya research flow ang kanyang conceptual framework actually.
So ang among ibutang sa factors affecting level of anxiety ma'am is katong meta paradigm ma'am, then
Dili kanang nasing statement of the problem.
Okay ma'am.
Again, kana yung conceptual framework more na siya og research flow. Kani inyuhang statement of the problem, mao ni siya ang inyuhang tubagon sa inyuhang research. So kung unsaon siya pagtubag, kung unsay labas ana niya, mahimo siyang conceptual framework. Na factors affecting level of anxiety based on Roy's adaptation model. So unsa man tong mga factors na giingon ni Roy dito? Diba? Persons, environment, health, and nursing. Yung sa pag-define gani ang nursing gani, kani mo kung kita mo define ani sa nursing, kuan man siya, di ba? Kana profession. So how is nursing used man din ha sa inyong kuan study?
Murag interventions siya ma'am na makatabang para maka-cope ang teenagers sa ilang anxiety ma'am.
So dili siya factor na maka-cause og level of anxiety.
Oo ma'am. Mura siya tubag siya ma'am or like mura siya adaptive mode.
So dili siya factor na maka-cause og anxiety.
Sa ako nasabtan yes ma'am katong dira sa among pag-define sa nursing ma'am.
Then more on health promotion pod ang nursing diha diri ma'am.
So kaning nursing diri, wa na siya labot din na sa factors. Diba?
So ang mabilin lang ma'am is person, environment, then health.
Or sa pa man laing factors iyong na-research na maka-cause og anxiety sa mga tao in terms of vaccination. Okay, pwede man na, what are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in terms of person, environment, and health? Okay, murag, kan ba, what are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in their level of anxiety in terms of person, environment, and health? Kaya diba, ini human man gud ani, kung unsa ang, in terms of unsa man adaptive mode, so, what are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in the level of anxiety in terms of, in terms of physiological, self-concept, unsa man siya, in terms of what man? Di unsa niya pag-adapt. So kag in terms of person, so gi unsa pag-adapt sa tao. So na question dito, do you blah 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 environment, do you talk so much with your friends to cope up with anxiety? Health, do you sleep 3 times a day, blah blah blah. Kaya when I am anxious, I make sure to sleep 3 times a day to blah 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 my health, ana. Nakuha mo kay ang next ani is there a significant relationship man? Kuon yung relationship sa level of anxiety o socio-economic, and then ang coping, ang taon ng coping, what are the adaptive modes? Is there a significant relationship with the level of anxiety? Wala, identify rin ninyo ang coping. What are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in their level of anxiety? So, saan yung mga adaptive modes? What are these? So, nisulti mo diri sa inyong framework na physiological mode, self-concept mode, role function, adaptive modes o subsystem modes. So, cognitor, subsystem. Unsa man ni sila? Unsa ni explain ko ning cognitor system, regulator system.
Ang according sa definition ni Roy, ma'am, is ang cognitor subsystem is a person's mental coping mechanism or major coping process, ma'am. Then na-involve siya og four cognitive emotive channels, which are perceptual and information processing, learning, judgment, and emotion, ma'am. Then,
Okay. Kung basahon nimo di ang adaptive modes o kuan, asa man siya mabilong na categorize? Self-concept modes, yeah? Within self? Personal? So, person gyapon siya, person niya, environment, dayon, health, o kanang, health. Kaya kailangan magud na siya congruent ni tanan ba, dili pwedeng mag-ambak-ambak ba. So what are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in their level of anxiety? So giunsa pag-adapt sa usa ka tawo sa inyong teenagers sa iyang level of anxiety in these following factors: person, environment, or health. Ano ba? So as a person, how do you adapt? So what do you do internally? So mura na siya mahulog na fall na siya sa cognitor subsystem. Or specific din nyo siya ba? Kaya kaniya, maghimo ba yun ninyo ang kagalingon na questionnaire ani good. So, kailangan kabalo mo. Unsa inyong i-test sa level of anxiety? Unsa po nyo i-test sa coping?
Ma'am, na-comment si Dr. Akbar. Babahin sa title, ma'am. Itong sa taas.
Okay. Ako, aning modes ba ang modes? Concern might need a doctor for classifying the level of anxiety. Di naman kinahanglan, basta kay ma-define ang anxiety is pwede man siya i-define mild, moderate, and based on the psychology na definition sa level of anxiety ba, mild, moderate, severe. So mild unsay pasabot. Pero sumagi sa isip ko baka kailangan murag dili ra dok. Murag dili ra. Naaman ta category. Sa stages of anxiety. Naman ta category sa stages of anxiety. Within sa atong profession. Sorry. Kanin yung adaptive mode, diri jud ko. What are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in their level of anxiety? Like parang statement if they agree. Yan, i-interpret na lang. Isa level ng anxiety. Kanin sa kan. Sa definition of terms, ano nga ilagay? Kaning adaptation diri jud ko ay mura man ni coping word. What factors influence the anxiety level of teenagers towards COVID-19 vaccination in terms of person, environment, health? Ito pala yung factors yung nakitaan, ani?
adaptive modes or by system. Pakita mo atong sample na akong gisend sa inyo ha.
Katong level of stress, ma'am?
Kita mo ito ng conceptual framework.
Yes, ma'am.
Kato siya, 'di ba, natoy pangalan unsa ang mga respondents, no, mga independent variables. Dayon unsay ang gitest, coping, then mao na dayon na kanang inyong health environment kana sila actually mura na sila og imuhang guide based sa theory kung how will you go about in making your questionnaire asa ka mag-focus inig pangutana nimo sa level of anxiety. So you will ask questions about level of anxiety towards their health, level of anxiety towards them as a person, questions that would lead to how anxious are they in terms of their environment. Does the environment has an effect towards the creating of this anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination? Mao man na ang ato ang gustong makuha ng mga factors. Do you have any other factors pa ba, Jud? Na kanang level of anxiety, mild anxiety, moderate, severe, kuan siya. How will you test the level of anxiety man ana sa inyo ha? Like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 man na. No anxiety, mild anxiety. Anaon man na siya Likert. Kung base man gihapon ka sa Likert ani. Kani inyong kuan, kani inyong conceptual framework dapat teenagers dayon factors affecting the anxiety nya giunsa siya pag measure sa factors. Dayon, adaptive na dayon ka. Kaning mild anxiety, kani leveling man ni siya kung mag-panic level na ka, unsa may metabo nimo sa imong vital signs ani. Dili man ta ing ani mo take, di man ta ing ani mo measure sa Likert scaling, di man ni mao. This is not what we're gonna use when we do the Likert scaling na 5 point. Dili na siya mao ang gamiton. Nakabasa mo kang Paplo na level of anxiety?
Yes, ma'am. Gi-include na mo siya sa explanation under sa conceptual framework sa third paragraph.
Unsa iyahang leveling gani ni Paplo?
Mild, moderate, severe, and panic, ma'am.
Sa panic unsay mahitabo? Pero kung ano ang inig ka interpret ani kung 5 point scaling man gud ni siya. Kan man gud ni siya, mahimo ni siya og severe anxiety, no anxiety. Inig measure ani ba sa Likert scaling? Tan-aw ko sa kuan. Wala di mo gi-discussan ana unsaon na siya pagbuhat. Isud ka ayon ning research kung dili makasabot. Isa ulo. Wait ha. Sa definition, ilagay pwede din siguro ilagay sa definition ang gamit sa concept.
Tara na. Sige, ako i-share screen ninyo ha. Where is it? Okay. Somehow, madunggan pa ko. Or niya,
Ni-block ang screen man.
na lagi. Kani abot ang amo ang eroplano. Sa mo abot ang eroplano, maigo din ang internet. Kadiyot ha. Kana makita?
Block
Dili
yapon
gyapon,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Kadugaya mo off sa eroplano. Sa mo abot gani si Big Bird na mo gini mahitabo ang mo internet. Kana makita ang screen kani
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
awa ha. Tagantang mong sample na kanang stress related, yung mga factors is interpersonal. So, what are your level of stress in terms of interpersonal? Extra personal factors. Kung unsa man yung usa, intra man ata ni. Na intrapersonal, giunsa siya pag base ni siya sa theory ha. So, naman tig theory na stress level intrapersonally, interpersonally, o extrapersonally. In each factor, maghimo ka og question para maka-view mo ba unsay padunggan na yung statement of the problem. Namutubag siya. So for example, di ba kag person interpersonally man na, imuha man na, ikaw man na as a person. Kag I get anxious when I heard bad things coming from, or when I get anxious as I read news through the blah blah blah. Do you strongly agree na maka-anxious nimo? Do you moderately agree na maka-anxious nimo? Disagree ba ka? Di ni siya mo anxious nimo? Mo agree ba ka ni moderately agree or strongly agree na ang mga news or kanang imo mga self-doubt, if mga worries nimo, if do you does the self-doubt within you causes you anxiety or kanang vaccine hesitancy, that's why blah 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 mo nimo mga questions mo statement diha ano mo agree ba ka or dili para makahibalo ta if maka-anxious ba ni nila or dili ni maka-anxious nila. Maingana nimo gawa sa inyong questionnaire eventually kung ang first factor is more on the person. So giunsa man na pag define ni Roy ang person na factor. Ingana pud mudagan atong mga questions. Nga kung moari pud ka sa coping is also adaptive. So coping siya in terms sa kato ng mga factor. So as a person, how do you adapt to this anxiety? So laab imo mga question more on adaptive pud siya. Pero towards sa katong factors kay kailangan mo adapt ka sa imuhang anxiety. Kung dili ka ka-adapt, dili man ka kabalik sa normal, di man ka ka-act. So unsay buhaton nimo para mo adapt ka even if given na dihang anxiety. What do you use na mga strategies or mga mechanism? Mo na mo state na pud ka diha og imo mga words. Kani siya namang kanina questionnaire, kanina mga words na nakabutang diri, hinimo na tanan sa estudyante. Dili ni siya researchers made. Pero ang mga gipangsulat diri based og mga article human ilan ang gipang fit in mo answer sa ilahang question. So, mao pod ni mamugawas sa inyong study eventually. Kamo di mong himo sa inyong questions. Pero unsa mga factors ang inyo i-determine. Para na mo'y clear picture ba na, kanang kung mo-adapt pod di ay ko, kailangan based pod sa mga factors na naka-cause akong anxiety, or how do I adapt? What are the mechanism of my adaptation? Kunya kay kumubasa ka sa katong kang Roy Magod, it all go back to the factors, di ba? Katong definition, pag-explain ni Roy, magtanaw ka. Sud gapon siya within sa factors na person, environment, ug health. Diba? If niyo basahon niyo ang kang Roy,
Yes, ma'am.
oh. So meaning dili na to sa inyong conceptual framework. Asa na tong conceptual framework? Kay kayo na ko ni. Ako'y nanawag. Wait sa kadiyot. interruption. Ha? Na-stress ko ninyo kay ang deadline kay ano na. Alas 11 sa gabi ang deadline.
Yes, ma'am.
Wala mo na stress? Lagi na stress. Uya, aning last minute. Ay my gosh. Di na ba yun sa yun ang result? Ay, Lord. Makita?
Yes, ma'am.
Good job. Sige. Mo ni ang research. Pasabton ta mo giun sa pagbuhat ni ha. Statement of the problem. So, di ba, demographic profile. So, demographic is age, sex, civil, number of children, financial status, academic year level course of units. Nanong duha man ni kabuok kay paon man pud nilang academic status good sa ilahang estudyante na nagmama sa Norso. Yan, demographic sa inyo wala ra man. So, mo nang socio demographic profile. Nagsosyo mo tungod kay naaman mo location sa ilahang kuan ka na sa so, yung usa gani ka factor
Living arrangements, ma'am.
Wait, basahan ako. Living arrangements. Kaning living arrangement ba? Unsay kuan ninyo ani if nagpuyo ba sila og concrete na balay? Ana?
Dili, ma'am, like, if kinsa ilang kauban sa household, ma'am.
Kinsa ilang kuyog sa household. Mo din ni usan ninyo di ay. Unsa ni kanang type of nano siya saktong term anang kinsa ang nagpuyo sa household. Sige lang, i-define na nato ng kanang gitawag ninyo o kanang dili na kuan type of family katong nuclear, blended, kato ba?
Pwede, ma'am.
Pwede. Kana lang kaha ato ibutang din ha. Diba man ta unsa ng nuclear, di ba? Nuclear is composed of, mo man na. So instead of living arrangement ba, type unsa na tawag ana nila na kuan, na category i-search good na kanang nuclear. Sige. Sunod mo na. No. Sunod nilang question, what is the level of stress of the respondents in terms of so, saan yung level of stress in terms of ang inyong question is what are the factors influence level of anxiety? Or so yung question is what is the level of anxiety in terms of a person, environment, health? Yun yan na inyong question. Kaya mo man ni ang kani siyang interpersonal, exam mo ni ang mga factors na maka-affect sa level of stress sa usa ka tawo. Sa inyo hapon mo pud siya mura hug anxiety. Pero yung factors na identified is person, health, o environment based sa kang Roy na adaptation model. Pwede pa na what are the factors what is the level of anxiety of the teenager towards COVID-19 vaccination in terms of in terms of factors na sila. So, in terms of meaning, in terms of these following factors. So, person, environment, of health. Kakuha mo sa picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Sino mo yes? Ay, maglibog na po na silang zamon. So, mahog na. Diba yung question is, what factors influence the level of anxiety of teenagers towards nakuan? Kaya yung what factor, mura kaga-survey. For inyo is gusto ninyo makuha ang level of anxiety towards ani na mga factors. Sakto ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Or gusto mo survey unsa ng mga factor niya out of what are the factors influence level of anxiety? Pwede man kamuhatag og all possible factors na ipa-check na ninyo dito niya. Unsa ang kadaghanan dito? Dito inyong basihan na inyong studyhan nganong anxious man sila ani ng mga factors. Ana ba or you wanted na what are the level of anxiety of the teenager towards COVID-19 in terms of these following factors: person, environment, health. Mao ba na?
Murag mas okay dagay ma'am if kami ra mohatag daan sa factors then didto murag mo kuan na lang sila. Mo response na lang ana nga
So
factors.
kung saan ninyo pag-state, like sa person, so ang usa ka factor na maka-anxious is person. So giusa gay pag-define si person sa kang Roy?
Kuan ma'am, biopsychosocial being in constant interaction with a changing environment.
So bio, so physical, psychological, of a well-being of a person. No, iyaha tanan. So, ang padulngan ang question sa inyo is padulong yun na siya sa tao. So, mayong kaog. Sa may maka-anxious sa tao. Sa vaccination. So, mo po na yung pangitaon ng mga terms niya later on. Sige, later ataan na. So, ang question number 2 is, what is the level of anxiety of the teenager towards COVID-19 vaccination in terms of person, environment, and health? Sakto? People,
Pardon ma'am?
ani inyo ha ba? Mahulog na ni og what is the level of anxiety of the respondents in terms of ana kita mo?
Yes, ma'am.
Kani siya kani siya change to the type of family orientation. Example, nuclear, and etc. Gayon, what are the adaptive modes utilized by respondents in their level of anxiety? O na, pwede na. Kinana diha. Based on the category of stress. Na level of anxiety. Yung kag socio-demographic profile, including na siya sa wala mo nagbutang diri og financial financial status, no?
Wala pod ma'am.
Nakabasa ba mo if ang financial or ang kanang socio-economic status niya dato sila or dili mo matter ba pud siya sa anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination?
Wala pod mi nakatouch sa financial ma'am.
Sige. Okay, arita sa definition of terms. So sa definition of terms sila, ilang gi-define ang level of stress, no? Sa inyo ha, ang gibutang nga ninyo panic, extreme stress, mild stress, moderate, pero based na siya kang paplo.
Yes ma'am.
Ngayon, sunod. No stress response to the, kani siya, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Based ni siya sa Likert scaling. Kana bang how to measure the stress in a Likert scaling. Kani siya kani. Bakit punta mo ha? May maguni makakita mo kay para makasabot. Dili mo makakita. Wa siya daan. Kay unsaon man gud nimo pag-measure sa stress man gud, we have to make kani muna siya Likert scaling 5 4 3 2 1. No stress, mild stress, moderate stress, much stress, extreme stress. Kani siya na Likert scaling gikan ni siya sa sa inyong statistician. Actually. So, pwede po na siyang ingon no anxiety, mild anxiety, moderate anxiety, much anxiety, extreme anxiety. Pero, I don't know unsay saktong term na magamit in terms of measuring it ba sa level of anxiety. So, if maka-talk out mo sa statistician, better. Para mas maklaro ang inyong definition sa inyong level of anxiety. Kaya kato kang paplo, kanang panic, stage, pamago na siya, it involves the physiological adaptation of a person when you have anxiety. Okay, ang mild is a normal man na siya na normal man gud ng mild, ang panic ang ginalikayan. Pero diri sa inyong study sa level of anxiety, giunsa ninyo pag-test ang level of anxiety. So gitest siya sa pamaagi using a statistical tool na Likert scaling na if for example ang answer sa usa ka tawo mo fall within this dire, imo na siyang gi-interpret na no anxiety or no stress or no anxiety. So giunsa how do you measure your level of anxiety? Using a Likert scaling. Muna siyang Likert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ni-use kag statistic, use ka og kanang how you call this? Ni-use ka og numbers ba to interpret the result. So mo na siya ingana na siya ang inyong pagkuan sa anxiety na i-define na ninyo unsaon ninyo pag-measure sa inyong level of anxiety. How do you measure it? Mayroon ka og level of anxiety. So, i-define siya operationally, how is it being used in your study. Kaya ang nahitabo, ang inyong definition of terms manggod, ako nabantayan is more on, dili siya operational, more on facts siya ba? Definition good siya. Okay. Feeling of teenagers fearing the unknown when getting vaccinated for anxiety is used in the study, blah, 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 or anxiety level. They are classified by levels of stress, impairment, experience into 4 categories, mild, moderate, severe, and panic. Yan. Dili man na nato ma-measure ni sila. How do you measure them? We have to use the Likert scaling. Muna siya. So, kaning akong gi-share sa inyo ha, when you look at their definition of terms, Likert scaling na siya gi-define. Para matest nimo ma-measurable ang imong level of stress. Kay sometimes manggod, kanang anxiety or level of anxiety to somehow it is a perspective type. Pwede siya by how we interpret it ba? Perspective na to, ato ang attributes to anxiety. How will you make it into a quantitative state na ma-measured nimo siya? So, kinahanglan ka og scaling. So, without the scale, dili na to siya ma-measure. So, kailangan siya mo undergo og statistical analysis or statistical treatment para mahimo siyang measurable. Ma-measured na to siya ba? So, mo na ng inyong, sa akong share dire, level of stress, Likert na siya. Dili na siya, wala na siya ni depend og usa ka theory. But it is how will you measure your stress? How will you measure your anxiety? So how will you know, how will you come up na ma-check ninyo ang level of anxiety? No, so yeah, how is it level of stress defined in their study? Yang ibutang din in the study, it is a degree to which a person feels overwhelmed or is unable to cope. Mo ni iyahang pag-define sa iyahang level of stress, iya gitagag interpretation unsa na siya. Sa inyo ha, what is level of anxiety? How do you define level of anxiety sa inyong study? Inyo kay levels are classified by the level of distress. Ingani man siya to dili siya operational. Giunsa paggamit ang level of anxiety sa inyong study? Nga naon siya atake sa inyong definition of terms. Atong tan-awon sa ilahang study, unsay lang gi-define. Okay. Kita mong level of stress, di ba? Ilang title is level of stress. Kanang tanan din ha na makita sa title ninyo, kinahanglan i-define na ninyo. Dapat makita na siya sa definition of terms. So, naa sila'y level of stress. Naa sila'y new normal. Naa sila'y student parents. Naa sila'y stressor. Naa sila'y category of stressor. Mauni sila. Naa sila'y, o kana, nganong maning kanira sila, kay mao man na ang gadagandagan sa ilahang study. Which, kanang category of stress, mauni sila. Na interpersonal. Mo ilang gi-define sa ilahang. Ang definition of terms are terms used in the study. What are the things that is used in the study na maka-result yun siya ba? Dili na ingon na tanan-tanan, dili. Ang mga terms na gigamit to understand the study. Mao na ibutang ninyo sa definition of terms. Kanina, nakita man siya sa statement of the problem, di ba? Okay. People. Kaya tanawa yung kuan ha. I-stop ko niyo na share. Kanya ko i-share sa inyo ha. Ang inyo ha kung i-share. Ang inyo, kita na mo? Ang inyo ha is attitudes and behavior. Kanyang attitudes and behavior, nakita ba niya siya sa inyong title? Tanawa.
Wala.
Then you have to define man. So whatever variables utilized in your study, mo na yung i-define dito sa inyong definition of terms. Nagiunsa siya paggamit. How is it being used in your study? Like a COVID-19 vaccination, i-define. Teenagers, define. How are the teenagers used in the study? How is level of anxiety used in the study? Anak ba? Naman yung comment ni Doc Akbar, na ako nabasa. Lang yan na definition. May nakalagay na definition at yun. So, meron bang tool para doon? Wala nga, Doc. May attitude and behavior sa COVID and then pwede cut COVID vaccination anxiety among. Kaya siguro may question doon na significant relation between doon sa variables. So, maging independent yung attitude and behavior sa COVID-19. Hindi na ni Mao. Wala pa nila na understand judo. Verify sana. We'll try this one. Anxiety and Kang Roy, may hapon yung adaptive mechanism, no?
Yes, ma'am. Roy, ma'am.
Para maano natin na.
Okay. Uh-huh. So, is there a significant relationship between the level of anxiety? COVID-19 vaccination? Is there a significant relationship between the level of anxiety and social demographic profile of the respondents? Respondents towards COVID. There is significant relationship. Significant relationship or difference ta ani between the level of anxiety towards COVID-19 vaccination among teenagers in barangay Candaopi and Batindi. Is there a significant difference between the level of anxiety of the respondents? The respondents in barangay Candaopi and Batindi towards ano ni? Layo kayo siya space. Mo kabalo ba sa mag-edit dali? Okay. There's no significant relationship between the level of anxiety There is a significant relationship between the level of anxiety and social demographic profile of the respondents. What are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in their level of anxiety? What are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents? What are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents in their what are the adaptive modes utilized by the respondents towards the factors of anxiety? Mhm. Kani, there is a scope and limitation dungagi diri ha. The study will focus on the level of anxiety among teenagers. Respondents were vaccinated or kani
i-rephrase na masulod ang duha barangay. Okay pa mo diha? People of the Philippines. Stop shares ako ha. I-share screen ako lain ang conceptual framework. Wait. Mo gini matabo ta research ha. Magdaghan gina ato ang kuan. Sige. Mo ni lang conceptual framework. Kung ako'y mo interpret ani, mo ni siya mitabo. First is they identify their independent variables, which are the student parents of Negros Oriental main campuses. And unsa ilahang gibuhat ato nila? Ilahang gikuha ang demographic profile, academic profile. So sa inyo is teenagers sa Barangay Batinggil o Kandaway. Dayon inyong gikuha ilahang socio-economic, no? Ilang profile, socio-demographic or socio-demographic profile yung gikuha sa inyong what do you call this? Sa inyong respondents. Dayon, inyong gitest ilang level of stress according to the factors you identify, which is the health, person, environment, and health. Then, unsa ila mga adaptive na mga mechanism na gi-use towards ani ng mga factors. Diba? Na naka-affect sa ilahang, na naka-induce of anxiety. And then, once na makahibalo na mo, asa na dapita ani ng mga factors ang pinakataas og stress, ug makahibalo mo giunsa nila pag-adapt. Tungod ato, diday, makabalo mo unsa na mga factors ang pinakataas naka-cause of anxiety, kading giunsa pag-adapt sa inyong respondents, asa dito dapita ang na factors na adaptive siya ba? Kung sa environment ba siya, through its environment manipulation, mas na lesser iyang anxiety. So, diha siya mas more. So, if in case na ang result ani, whatever is the result, mao inyong buhatan o program para gamiton sa inyong barangay as a recommendation na ilang i-implement para maka-help sila na dili na ma-anxious ang mga teenagers as well as well-informed po ang mga family members. Mao gyud na inyong conceptual framework. Kung imo lang tawon ang mga terms na nakita diri sa inyong conceptual framework, nagdagandagan na gyud na siya kung unsay nakit-an sa inyong statement of the problem. Kita mo?
Yes, ma'am.
Nya ang inyong lang is nigamit mo sa mga factors na gi-identify ni Roy. Kaya siya man ang inyong theory. Nya kung basahon po ninyo mga adaptive mechanism ni Roy, kung imo lang tawon, igo gihapon siya sa person, environment, as well as health. So, kung ma-cover up ni Roy if maka-adapt ang tibuok natong sistema, maka-implementa og unsang action para kanina mga factors mahataga na tuog kanang focus. Na so, for example, person, environment o health. Kung ang tawag dito, ang grabe kaayo na maka-cause of anxiety di ay dito sa factors na na-identify niyo is ang health. So, ilaha is, they're more concerned, they're more anxious on the health of their children. Then, propose na to program, dito ta mo focus dito sa health. So, diyon sa man pag mga adaptive mechanisms, so diyon sa pag-adapt nila in terms of this anxiety, how did they do it man? So, sa health, naghimo kag statement dito, giunsa man na nila pagbuhat sa ilang health. So, nakita mo na, mo-adapt sila, pero more on, when they adapt, they seek for environmental manipulation. So, through environment sila. So, naagi dako kaayo, ilahang way to do adaptive mechanism is through environment. So, concern nila is health, may maka-cause nila anxiety. Pero, with the help of the environment, mas makalesen sila sa anxiety na maka-adapt sila. So, muna din na inyong buhatan o program na more on information dissemination drive gid siya. Na if given ang proper ng mga information, sakto ang atong environmental adaptation o manipulation, eventually, kaning mga factors na inyong i-identify, malasan na sila ang ilang stress towards COVID-19 vaccination. So, mo-increase ang ilang compliance towards it. So, mura og ingana siya pag-interpret niya base ng study. Pwede man ang pag-answer nila ang pinakataas ay is ilang self. Anxious sila silang self. Dagan silang self-doubt, dagan sila blah blah blah. Mga nga na ba? So on and so forth. Kuha mo? Or libog ra gihapon. Oh my gosh. Sige, tubag mo. Kay awa inyohang kuan ha. Awa ang inyohang magong conceptual framework. Share screen ko sa inyo ha. Tanawan yung conceptual framework. Kaning adaptive modes. Lahi naman pud gud siya. Lahi na pud atake ba? Dili siya asa man, what do you mean by adapt man? Mo adapt siya sa anxiety towards the factors or mo adapt siya in another way?
Sa factors mo.
Ha?
Mo adapt siya sa factors ng
Kay kanang role function padung man na sa person. Nya kanang interdependence nimo padung man pud na sa person. Self-concept tao man gihapon na. Physiologic needs nimo either person or environment. Katong cognitor, environment, regulatory subsystem, yun sa man unsay pasabot sa regulatory ni Koan, ni Roy. Kaya diba, for example, ako, if ma-anxious ko, what do I do? While nagulat ko sa akong turn, maminaw ko music. Press mo lesser ako anxiety while mag-wait ko. Or, I talk to people. Or, I just keep quiet. Ana. Na may mga ana na adaptive mechanisms ko.
According kay Roy ma'am, ang regulator subsystem kay kanang mo adapt ka automatically through neural, chemical, and endocrine coping channels daw ma'am.
Oh, how is it? What do you mean by that? In a layman's term. To self gihapon, ikaw mismo. Regulatory subsystem meaning you will be able to adapt through your self-regulation. Ikaw rin mo adapt sa yourself. So, person, gihapon siya. So, magtanaw mo sa model ni Roy, you adapt in a different manner, but you are still focusing on the factors identified. And in order for you to adapt manggod, nagyud kay gitawag og kanang mga tao na mo care nimo or ikaw ra ba sa myself. Mo matanawa na mo basahagin ang adaptive modes ni Roy, di ba? The same ra gyapon dito ra gyapon napadulong sa mga factors na iyang identified. Ang Roy man kanang mga factors na health, person o environment. Ha? Pang Roy na, di ba?
Yes, ma'am.
So, sure mo. Sure mo? Sure ha? Ipon. Ipon.
Ma'am?
Revise your conceptual framework according to your research flow seen in your statement of the problem that focus on answering your research problem. Okay. Kaning si Hildegard Paplo, ano lang siya, supporting ninyo na kuan kanang supporting ninyo na unsay tawag ani niya supporting ninyo na theory ba na maapil ang iyahang discussion dito sa inyong related literature ha.
Yes, ma'am. Ang anxiety lang iyaha, ma'am.
Pero kaning theoretical framework ninyo buhatan gihapon ninyo unsa ang model ni Roy, how giunsa pag-present ni Roy ang iyahang model, dapat naa po mo'y diagram, dili ra siya all words. Make sure tangan na to dire. Make sure you have a diagram of Roy's model. Na mo pattern gapon ta sa inyong study ha. Tanaw ninyo ha. Dili siya lagpas ra pud kaayo out of this world. Ha? Oh. Oh, ma'am. Ma'am, lagang kay usbonon, ma'am. Okay. Researchers, parents, nursing practice, researchers. Yan kani inyong related literature. Kana demographic profile sakto na. Yan imo siyang i-arrange according sa unsa na sa statement of the problem. Sakto na. Research design. Apil na ba dining research methodology? Dili ba kutob ra diri sa kuan related literature? Apil na ni diri sa ubos?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Based sa format ni Ma'am Dela Peña.
The research instrument will be used in the study consists of two parts. The first part is socioeconomic analysis, and the second part is survey will be to measure the level of anxiety. Anong duha man ka part? Buwagon din ninyo ang pagkuha sa socio-demographic ug level of anxiety? Okay. Part 1, part 2. Sige, go. Get.
A survey of firmness. Level of anxiety and adaptive mechanism na ni siya. Level of anxiety and adaptive mechanism. Kaya awan yung title ha. Inyong title is Anxiety and Adaptive Mechanism of Teenagers Man Towards COVID-19 Vaccination Man. Okay, kuhaon man ninyo ang relationship. Hindi siya correlation. Inyo ra identify. Awa di ay. Level of anxiety ra di ay. So, mapuno pa mo RL ani sa inyong living arrangements. Ma-change na to ang term sa living arrangement ha. Sa gatong living arrangement. Living arrangements. Kani ba? Ma-change na ni.
Okay ra ba daw if family structure ang i-change sa living arrangement, ma'am?
Sa iyong research, kung magawas sa family structure, magawas ang nuclear kato? Unsay magawas in search family structure, magawas ang nuclear?
Yes, 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 ma'am. ma'am. Ang nuclear single parent.
Kana, sige. Nya inyo na siyang ikuan ha. Ayun yung kalimtin na ifutangan siya dire, ini ka himo questionnaire, dapat ka to like single parent, nuclear. Inyo man nang i-specify kung kanang nuclear unsay pasabot ana ning nuclear. Living with unsa man ang nuclear ana, so on and so forth. Sige. So yun na family structure. Pero nag-defend ninyo ba unsay pasabot ana family structure? Yang ano gi-appeal man ninyo siya as part of sa inyong i-test. Okay. Sa tiyong nakita na reason, katong sa RLL, mo na ito yung i-defend. Sa inyong nakita na reading, anong essential kay siya in determining your level of stress. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Ayun. Saan naman ito lapit? Hala. Stress. Pero ang kanibang research instrument, mag-identify man gihapon to, di ba, og unsay mga coping mechanism or adaptive mechanism na gi-use sa inyong sa inyong respondents. So sa inyong research instrument, appear good ang adaptive mechanism ng mga questionnaires, dili ra siya all about level of stress. Kaya di ba ma-identify man sa tao og adaptive mechanism nilang gina-use nila?
Yes, ma'am.
So mausab na din ang inyong mga research instrument.
Mag-use pa mig Likert scale, ma'am, no?
Kung dili ta mo Likert scale, unsa man yung gamiton to measure? How will you make it into a quantitative research if you will not use Likert scaling? How will you measure the level of stress?
How will you do that? People, how will you do that? Ano? Kuan, anong karon pa mo nagpa-check kanina karon na ang deadline? Kanin yung kaning statistical treatment data din mo kuhaan eh. Kaning always, often, sometimes, seldom, never. Where did you get this one? Dinigikan.
Kana siya ma'am, kato pa na siyang sa God 7 ma'am nga ano niya. Mumantog murag dili ba applicable tong questions ma'am para ato nga ano.
Dili niya siya yung i-appeal diri. Hindi man ni fitted sa yung study.
Yes ma'am, i-change na lang namo nang sa corresponding remarks para sa Likert scale namo ma'am.
Ako, dili na ninyo ni form. Dili ninyo ni ma-form ang kanina, paano naman ta ni chapter 3 na ba ni siya dapita? Chapter 2. Chapter 3 ata. Dili na siya ma-form kung wala mo ni consult o statistician. Dili mo makahibalog o saktong gamiton ana if dili mo consult o statistician. So, kailangan mo mapaset o schedule sa akong sister. Kailangan mo email. If pwede ma-meet mo niya karon within the afternoon. I-submit ninyo, ipakita ninyo inyong draft dire para ma-change ning dire instrument, procedure, data gathering, kani statistical data unsay gamiton para ma-change na siya dinha dapita. Kaya kung dili na ninyo i-consult, dili takabalog unsay best gamiton based sa inyong statement of the problem. Kailangan mo magpa-consult sa statistician. You need to you need to meet my sister.
Maghimo kami letter niya, ma'am, or email.
Diretso ra, i-email sa diretso na if there are possibilities, we can make a consultation for you this afternoon, blah blah blah, ana. Well, nag-make mo ani ba? Nagsige mo tan-aw sa sample na research na akong i-share sa inyo ha, gikan sa level 4.
Yes, ma'am.
Nya kay di mo kuha ning often. Wala man may often. Mura buhok siyang inspiration ninyo ba? Nya paghimo ninyo ani, inyo siyang gi-fit in sa inyong study, sa inyong respondents, environment, how you go about with your how will you get the data, ano ba? Oh. Kay kanin yung research instrument, 2 parts siya. First is ang demographic, ang second is na siya, level of anxiety o katong mechanism ba, adaptive mechanism. Ninyo pong kwaon kung unsay gina-use nila oftentimes na mga adaptive mechanism. Ay. I-revise na karon yung say madag-revise ninyo yung say may tabuan na niya kung unsay isen na nga to niya ato ra nang himuon ng revisions after na lang sa basta makasend lang mo karon mabasahan siya, then we will just make revision until when makigmeet si Ma'am Dilipenya namo or makigmeet si Ma'am Dilipenya ninyo or si Ma'am Nova to talk it out more. Basta ka na lang may masubmit yung gabi. But if maka-email mo within the day, wala baka ni ga-tutor mo na yung ate ko. dili ko mo ano. Sabi na kung tawag ha. Anong karon pa mo nagpa-check na po, people? Di ko kadungog dyan.
Karon lang na finalize na.
Ate. Available karong hapon? Available karon?
Kaakoy,
4 to 7. Pwede ka makuan karon para sa ilahang research instrument, research statistical data about treatment. Pwede ka nila ma-meet karon?
Okay na sa ila ang
Dili kay kinahanglan man daw kuno sila mo-submit sa ilahang draft paper before 11:59 PM.
i-cancel na lang ako ang 5 p.m. Okay na ba ang 5 p.m.?
Cancel naman ang 5 PM. Unsa na ng 5 PM nimo?
That's class.
Hello.
Ma'am?
Makig-meet siya ninyo karon alas 3 to 5, 3 to 4. Kinaa siya tutor at 4 o'clock. Wata, ako isend sa inyo ang link so that you can meet her. Ipakita lang ninyong kwan then. Yahang hour baya karon if consultation mo kwan sa 100 per hour.
Excuse me, ma'am. Kanang naday may quiz karon ni Doc, ma'am. Alas 3, ma'am. Pero mahuman na noon siya. Kuan, ma'am. 3:15 siguro.
Dili,
15
sulod
minutes siya, ma'am.
kuan. Sensa ha. Hindi man na madalag 30 minutes ra. Nya mo sugod na imong 8 o'clock mo mag-meet sa gabi eh. Nya submit inyo by 11:59.
Okay rin ako, ma'am, pero I don't know sa uban ako na members, ma'am.
Kay kung yung ka og 8 o'clock, kung hinamog 8 o'clock, make sure na kanang ubang mga items na kailangan i-revise ninyo daan para ari na lang mo diri sa statistical area mo banat. Pwede?
Pwede, ma'am.
Kaya tawagan ako balik. Dili na ko ganahan ni suding ani ha na. Ura-ura dahon ninyo ha.
No.
Ate,
Oh.